Now let's start adding charts for the new arrival product. How can we make it? It's very easy. Let's restart terminal again and say npm install Recharts. You can imagine it like this: new arrivals per week, and this chart, and these specific dates. And by the way, let's install datefns npm install datefns to give us a correct date format, and you will see that later when we start. So here under dashboard card, I can create a new chart, but I have to pass it as a component, and inside it I have to pass it as a props. And you might ask me why I am doing that. Because since we are using Recharts, this page must be client component. But since we have Prisma, Prisma only accepts server component. That's why we have to make it in separate component. So below, and especially here, after the final dashboard card, and after this div, I will create a new component, weekly arrivals chart, and inside it I will pass data as props, and inside it this weekly arrivals, and it's not defined yet, and we will handle it, of course. So here I will say const weekly arrivals equal to await, and I will create this function get weekly arrivals. Let's define it above here. After these imports, let's remove here everything, we don't need it. And I will say async function get weekly arrivals. First, we have to fetch all the products here, prisma.product.findMoney. According to the date created at must be true. Then we have to make a map, but first this const will be empty, so const weekly map equal to empty objects. Then we will make a map inside it. So products.forEach, and here I will pass p, because we will fetch or we will make a map for products or how many products have been created each week. So const week start equal to format start of week, and I have to import format and start of week that comes from fns. So then p.createdAt, and the date format will be like this: month and date. And you can imagine the result like this: month and date. In this date we have 5 products, or we had added 5 products, and in this date 12 products, etc. Then we have to increment the count for that week. So we have to say weekly map week start, which means it will start from Monday, from the beginning of the week. So it will increase the count for this week 1, and if it's not exist, it will be 0. And then we have to turn this object into a list. So what I'm going to do is return object dot intrise, and inside it I will pass weekly map dot map, and I will pass inside it week and count. Then I will return the week and count. So you can think the result, it will be like this: inside array list of weeks and count. I will make a comment to understand it. Here I have a syntax error, and actually it's not a syntax error, it's a TypeScript error, because weekly map has any here, and it must be string or number, so I'm going to change it, record string number. Now let's create this component, weekly arrivals chart. It can be inside the dashboard, like this, .tsx, the default template, and I'm going to define it, and I will pass the data. So data, and let's define it as any inside array. Since we are using Recharts, we have to make here use client, That's the reason why we make this component in separate page. For the parent div, I'm going to give some classes and inside it h2. And now let's start building the chart. First, we're going to make AreaChart, and it will take width and height, and inside it we will pass the data. Then defs, and here I will add some designs, linear gradient, to give some styles. It's optional, but it's better to use it. And here I will add Cartesian grid, which comes from Recharts, and I will make it import Cartesian grid from Recharts. And inside it, I will add x-axis and y-axis. But before that, I'm going to give these as styles, stroke, then x-axis, which comes from Recharts, and it's self-closing. So the data key is weak, and I give it a stroke. And for y-axis, I'm going to give only a stroke, and you will see what tooltip will do. And by the way, you can find all these codes in documentations Recharts. I can say here Recharts from React. Here inside Recharts, you can get all these codes. We have added Cartesian grid, x-axis, y-axis, and I can add additional information like area, and I will import it. The type is monotone, data key is count, and some stroke and fill. And now if I go back to the page, I have an error here in data, which says type void is not assignable. And the reason why is we have to close these brackets here and delete it here. And if I go back to weekly arrivals chart, here I got error because we imported AreaChart from Lucid React, it's false. We have to delete it and import it again from Recharts. Now let's save and see what will happen. Great! We have the chart correctly, but I can't see the week and the days and the months. We have to display it, but everything is working. And I cannot see also the tooltip. So let's go back to weekly arrival charts again. And I can see that Cartesian grid must be self-closing. So let's close it here and delete this and save it. Now we can see the tooltip, we can see the weeks and days, and everything is working. Here in the tooltip I can see count 2, count 1, count 2, which means 2 products have been added. And the chart now is working. If you want to make it in the center, you can wrap AreaChart with a div, flex item center and justify center, and you will see this result.